guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Shara here. I hope that you guys are well. Today I wanted to talk about a subject that's kind of been bothering me for a little while, and it is about people touching my afro or my hair without asking. Now let me start off with giving you a little background story. I've been natural all my life, as you will have known from my previous videos, so this has been a recurring problem for me for a while, where I would just be sitting down, I could be walking down the street, and some random person decides that they just want to put their hand in my hair. It's happened to me at work, it's happened randomly, and the most recent one is where it didn't happen to me, but I was with my little sister, and we were actually going abroad on holiday, and she sat down on the plane. I was putting my stuff in the overhead compartment, and these three, like 6'3" men, white men, sat down behind us, and then my sister was sitting there minding her own business, and one of them just decides to get up, and I saw him just reach and just take a handful of her, and I said, "Don't you dare touch her." My heart was racing, everything. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what is he doing? So I said, "Don't you dare touch her." And then he turns to me and he just says, looks at me and says, "Why?" What do you mean, why? Like, what do you mean, why? Guys, after that, after I said to him, just don't touch her, it's disrespectful, I just left it there because it was just kind of going over his head. I sat down and I was seething on the inside for the rest of the journey. I was so angry, and I just thought to myself, I can't believe that this man actually wanted an explanation as to why I didn't want him to violate my sister's personal space. And it wasn't so much the fact that the man said why, it was the way he said it, as if to say, how dare you say no to me touching your hair. Like, I was absolutely dumbfounded. He didn't apologize that he'd caused any offense. He just thought it was something that he could do, and he didn't understand why he couldn't do it. It's almost as if he thought that he was entitled to touch my sister without asking. I don't know what possesses a person to just think they can waltz up to somebody that they don't know and touch them. Now, ladies, if you have natural hair, if you have a wig, if you are wearing a weave, I don't care. Please understand something. You are not entitled to satisfy anyone's curiosity. Do you understand? If you want to tell someone, do not touch my hair, you are well within your rights to do that. And I think sometimes black women especially are shamed into thinking that they can't tell people, oh, don't touch my hair, or they have to be polite about it. You don't owe anyone anything, especially if they're a perfect stranger. You do not owe anyone an explanation, and you certainly don't owe them politeness, especially when your personal space has been violated. And I think sometimes we don't want to come across as the aggressive black girl or the aggressive black woman, but no, protect your personal space. It is your personal space, and I think our hair in general is such an integral part of who we are, and it's such a big deal within our community as a whole, that when somebody violates that, it's just kind of like, well, what are you doing? And I think other people don't actually see it as a big deal. Well, it is a big deal. And people, if you're one of those people who like to touch women's hair, think twice, don't do it. How about you ask her first? Because when people touch your hair without asking, it's almost like they've ignored who I am, they've ignored who you are, and they've kind of disregarded your feelings and how you will feel about that, because they've already decided that it's not a big deal. And some people watching this may think, oh, well, it's not a big deal, or why is she getting so het up over someone touching her hair? The thing is, when it's happened time and time again, you realise what a problem it is that people think that they can just waltz up to you and touch you without asking. Because if it was probably the other way around, or if I was to go up to someone and touch someone without their permission, it would probably be classed as assault. So why is it different when it comes to my hair? Just because something is not a big deal to you, it doesn't mean that it's not a big deal to that person. Do you understand? And just because You may want your curiosity satisfied because you just have to know what it feels like. I've always wanted to know what afro hair feels like. It doesn't mean that the girl with the afro hair is going to want to satisfy your curiosity. She's not under any form of obligation to do that. And the fact that people don't even realise that this is a big issue is an issue in itself, because you don't see it as a big deal. But just because something doesn't directly affect you, it doesn't mean that the issue is not important. It doesn't mean that it's not a big deal to somebody else. Girls, if you are wearing a natural hair, if you're wearing a wig, weave or whatever, understand that your hair is more than just your personal space. It's part of your body. So you can tell people, don't touch me. It is a part of your body. And most of the time I do realise that it's usually out of fascination or as a compliment, but consider my feelings first. Consider the fact that I'm a human being. Don't ignore me and just go ahead and do it, because that's just rude. If you were raised with manners, I expect you to approach me better. It's almost like this thing that people almost think they have this entitlement over black women and their bodies, and that they can just kind of touch them whenever they feel like it. No, they can't. You can't. Protect your personal space, protect your crown at all costs. I'm sorry, like, if someone's going to violate my personal space, I'm going to let them know that it's not acceptable to do that, and I don't have to explain to you why I don't want you in my personal space either. I find tattoos fascinating, especially if it's on like your back or the collarbone or whatever. I think tattoos are great in general. I don't have any personally, but I will never waltz up to someone and start rubbing the top of their head, rubbing them on their back, or doing any of that just because I'm fascinated and I'm curious. Why? Because it's rude. Because it comes across as, whoa, it's a bit invasive. So if that's the attitude we have towards tattoos and people's bodies in general, why is it different when it comes to black women and their hair? Do we not deserve the same respect? There was kind of a debate about it on my friend's Facebook. My friend Hannah, actually, we were going back and forth talking about hair and our different experiences. Someone had actually commented and said that if someone touches your hair, you should take it as a compliment. Well, no, I don't. And I commented back and I said, well, no, I don't take it as a compliment when some creepy man or some random stranger wants to touch my hair, because it makes me feel like I'm in a zoo and I'm not an animal. I don't need to be petted. I don't need your hair in my afro. I'm not a dog. No, I think if you want to touch somebody's hair, ask them first, because it gives them the option to either accept your offer or decline your offer. But at least I will then know that you've tried to at least consider my feelings and how I would feel. But when you touch my hair without asking, it makes me feel like you don't care how I feel at all. And someone pointed out to me and said, yeah, but it's a time to maybe educate someone. And whilst I understand that it is a time to maybe educate, as far as I'm concerned, if you are a grown person, you have grasped the concept of respecting somebody's personal space. The only exception I can make is for babies. If you are over the age of, I don't know, if you are a teenager, you know about personal space. So if you are a grown man or a grown woman, you have definitely grasped the concept of personal space. And I think that people should be just a little bit more respectful. So in conclusion, do not feel bad about telling people not to touch you. It's your body. You can do what you like. We know our hair is fabulous. Our hair is fabulous. We are fabulous. But do we want everybody invading our personal space? No! Guys, thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you feel a little bit more informed as well. If you have any comments or whatever, just leave it in the comment section below. If you have any more topics that you'd like me to discuss, let me know as well, and I will see you next time on my channel, guys. Bye.